low when you think about it. Well, if that's convexity, this market's bearish, right? But if I started to draw this in for you now, what would you start thinking about convexity? Well, convexity is effectively trying to highlight the stickiness and the slippiness. So you're looking at that saying to yourself, well, I think the convexity's changed. Doesn't mean the market's bullish, but I think the convexity's changed because now they're buying the low price. And you'd imagine that in terms of volatility, historical volatility is collapsing. Because if you just simply, not the VIX, we're not talking about the VIX, but if we talk about historical volatility would have exploded in this candle. It would have had a little bit of follow through until this starts to then slow right down, wouldn't it? And then all of a sudden, historical volatility is now doing that. So you get this idea that this idea is convexity. This is what we start to recognize as a very simple, basic convexity idea, because obviously if that's what's happening on the way down, we should expect to see that on the way back out, right? It's the fast and slow narrative. In fact, the Japanese candlesticks have setups for convexity. It's called the rising three or the falling three. So they have a candle that looks like this. They then have a candle that has this type of idea here of three inside candles. And then they have another candle here. Well, that's a convexity setup, isn't it? They're expecting this market to be bullish. Well, if you think about what happened to the NASDAQ, you saw it happening, didn't you? It looks very bullish here. And then all of a sudden, it starts to run into a bit of trouble at the cash open. All of a sudden, the value of gamma starts diverging into this high price here. The candle gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, suggesting exactly what we had here, which was this reversal convexity. And obviously, in that situation here, you can see that we then got the sell trade coming into the market there, and we popped a big one to the downside. So we can already recognize just how good simple observations can be. You know, it's not difficult to recognize and spot them. We did get one trigger for the reversal, by the way, if anybody's particularly interested in the indicator that we've been showing earlier, the triggering indicator. We did get one trigger. I'll bring that across in a minute.
Theo's like, yes, yes, please. Let's see it. We want to see the trigger. Nice, John. I know, right? It looks really good. I love how Ray's taken each part of Max and it hits a specific area of, I'm going to call it the struggle and pain that retail traders face. And it's so good because you guys actually know what's behind it. Just having that conversation with one of the guys a couple days ago. Yeah, and the fractal aspect, taking out the weekends and going down into the smaller time frames. And that ties back to exactly what I was, saying on this of the why, always, always, not just the how. Exactly. I feel like that's exactly what that has done is in all these classes where Ray has done the macro to micro. It's exactly what it does. And building that confidence because you guys know what's behind it. I think all this really tied into his psychology class. Who knew that we would get a psychology class from Ray? Anyways, right, exactly, Theo. Exactly. But I love, he's putting you guys in the position, do your work, be confident in your work, execute, know what your probabilities are. It's going to build confidence, stack the days, stack your probabilities. Hey, hey, Jesse, welcome in. You'd bet against it? Oh, yeah, you would have definitely. All of us would have been on the over under of Ray teaching a psychology class. Is that what you're talking about? Exactly. We would have all lost after many years of 5 minutes. He would have no more to say than just do it. Exactly. We would all be feeling pretty confident, wouldn't we, on our over under? But you have to get like the athletes that say, after missing a number of shots, that they're going to take that next shot. They do their preparation, they go out, give it their best, and some days it's going to look really good, and some days may just look so-so. I was just thinking that over the weekend, all these different games in, especially in softball, like one time the score will be 1-0, and the next time it's 10-0, and sometimes it's the same pitcher and the same batters that couldn't get anything the time before get 10 runs. So it's kind of crazy when you think about it like that. I'm glad you're in, Jesse. We've been doing all the good work, waiting for Ray to show the trigger. Show it, show it.